You've got a joint business. Father starts a business, he's started something, and one son comes and joins, and the second one joins, and no one knows what's happening, in what capacity. Is your son working as an employer? Have you employed him, employee? If he is, then what are his wages? Or does he have a share? What kind of share? 5% in the business or 10%? What about the other son? How many percentage does he have? Or is he just voluntarily just helping dad for free? Write it down clear. No one writes anything. This is a family, we all eat together. Okay. But nothing will happen today. But 20 years down the line, your two sons will fight each other, they'll be ready to kill one another. Because he's not going to be just son. Then it's going to be his wife. And then his wife, your brother's taking more, it's like, and his children, and then there's lots of other people involved. Day one, clear. Mu'amalat should be absolutely clear. This is a very, very important point. You build a house together. I have so many issues. They say, like, what's the fatwa now? Sometimes there's no fatwa. I said, there's no solution. Islam gives solution, but there's no solution. Islam gives solution for everything, but if you kill someone, there's no solution. Islam says he's going to come back to life. Some things, there's no fatwa. I can't do it. There's no way. There's inheritance. No one knows nothing. No records were kept. No one knows whose house this is, where, who paid what money. No, it's just a whole spaghetti junction. Now, how do we clarify? There's a massive dispute. People have, lands in the subcontinent, in India and Pakistan, Bangladesh, or in some other countries, No one knows. My grandfather, he had this, and then he just, my father took it, but then my uncle wants it. Now the uncle's passed away and father's passed away, but their children want it and they're fighting. Whose land was it in day one? No one knows what happened. Nothing's clear. Never-ending disputes, families become disunited. So this clarity of dealings is very important. Inheritance, this is why Sharia says, as soon as someone passes away, this is a topic on its own. Inheritance is a completely different topic. As soon as they pass away, within the first day, calculate and give everyone. If you can't give, at least calculate the shares. Within the first 2-3 days. Don't think about, he's just passed away, you're talking about money. No, we're not talking about money, we're talking about Islam. This is a religious obligation. No one wants money, everyone's sad. But the person's passed away, within 2-3 days, who owns what share, everything is clear. Don't leave it for 10-15 years, then problems occur. The same teacher, Mufti Alkawthari, Hafidhullah, he mentioned a story once that when his father was quite ill in his last few months of his life, so he used to be in his room where he was quite disabled. So he said one day, it was like his students, we were all sitting there, so I bought him some milk from inside the house, and I bought some milk and I came and gave it to him. So after he finished drinking, he said, go and put this back in the other room or in the kitchen. So I left it, I put it there on the table. But he's talking right now, there's a small majlis, he's giving some nasiha. And then when he finishes, I'll take it. So after about half an hour or so, he saw that I had just left it. Then he said to me, you didn't take it, I told you straight away. He said, yeah, no, I've got it here, don't worry, I'll take it. I said, no, now. Don't delay. So he said, I took it, but then I asked him, what was the urgency? So then he told me, he said, I have written in my will that everything that is in this room belongs to me and everything outside of this room belongs to my wife. I don't want to die where this cup is here and it really belongs to your mother. Because all the inheritance rules are big. Because even in a cup there's inheritance. These stories are just recent, even from before Imam Abu Hanifa's time. Imam Abu Hanifa went somewhere, I think it was Imam Abu Hanifa, they went to see somebody who was in his deathbed, and as soon as he passed away, he put the lamp off, right? Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah. Everyone in darkness. He said, well, until now we were his guest, he allowed us, we used his light. As soon as he passed away, this lamp light doesn't belong to him. Go and ask his son, his daughter, his wife, or whatever, all the people who have a share in this lamp. Are you all allowing us to use this light? If they all happily grant permission, then we'll keep the light on. Otherwise it's haram. لا يحل مال امرئ مسلم إلا بطيب نفس منه. The hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is haram to use the wealth of any Muslim without the complete consent and happiness. So financial dealings have to be very, very clear. This is a very, very important topic. Whether it's a business, whether it's partnership, whatever, just make it clear, as absolute crystal clear in writing. Credit transactions, loan transactions, whatever transactions they may be. And then a second point is, with employment, a lot of people ask about employment, with jobs. What kind of jobs can people do? So the easy way to understand this is that when people want to take up any job, two things they have to think about. One is that their actual job, is that in accordance with Islamic teachings or not? Because Islam has rules of halal and haram, like I said. And this is why, the ayah I recited, Dar al-akhirah, وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ. So your next life. So in other words, in order for a Muslim to be a good Muslim in his economic life, the intention, etc. is there. And then the second part is that his dealings with the teachings of Islam. That's why I'll just mention there's two hadiths. They're both in Sunan Tirmidhi and elsewhere. The Messenger ﷺ in one hadith says, التجار يحشرون يوم القيامة فجارا. All the traders, tujar is the plural of tajir. التجار يحشرون يوم القيامة فجارا. Plural of fajr. Fajr is fasiq, sinner. All the traders, they'll be resurrected on Yawm al-Qiyamah as what? As major transgressing sinners. Illa, except man ittaqa wa barra wa sadaqa, except the one who feared Allah in his tijara. Wa barra, he was righteous. Sadaqa, was truthful. And there's another hadith, Imam Tirmidhi brings this next one straight after, which is looking at it from the other angle. So you're looking at something from this angle and you're looking at it from this angle. So this is talking about like all of them, the exception are some. And the other hadith is التاجر الصدوق الأمين مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين. التاجر, now that إلا من اتقى, the second hadith is starting with that. التاجر who is صدوق. In the other hadith was إلا من اتقى وبر وصدق. Here it's صدوق. The tajir, the tradesman who is truthful, التاجر الصدوق الأمين, trustworthy, will be on the day of judgment مع النبيين, with the prophets, والصديقين, with the righteous people, والشهداء, with the martyrs, والصالحين. That's their level. So it's like either you're right at the top or you're at the bottom. This is like a division in which there's only two teams. There's only first place and last place. There is no in between. Some students, there's one student said in exams, what number did you come? I came third. How many people in your class? 3 people. I said, you could have said last, or you can say third. So there's only two positions here. Either if you're buying, selling, you're trading, you're doing business, you're earning money, either you are with the Anbiya, Shuhada, Salihin, or a major sinner. There's only two. There's no middle way. That's why it's very critical. So the trade, the earning of the money has to be in accordance with Islam. Whatever Islam has clearly prohibited has to be abstained from. So I was saying, jobs, for example. We know with jobs, for example, so 2 things we have to look at. One is my actual job, is that halal or haram? And number 2, where my income, the source of income, where that's coming from. So for example, my job is a good job, it's a halal job. Let's say my job is to paint the wall. That's my job. That's a halal job. But the source of the income, the one who's paying me, the money generated, let's say I am painting for a casino. They're giving me wages from the casino or a gambling place. These are the basic harams we know, riba and gambling, etc. So therefore that job will be haram for me. Even though my job it's okay, but the source is not okay. And if you take it the other way around, the source is fine. Yeah. But my job is to shoot people, kill people. And the money is coming from some, mashallah, sadaqat money or something. We'll pay you from the funds of the masjid. Shoot everybody. Again, it's haram. Both things have to be halal. Now, there's so many jobs that people can't do, which are haram. Like what? What are some of the basic things which are unlawful in Islam? Riba is a massive, massive haram. Big cross. Usually, interest, riba. أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى. Allah has made bay' halal and riba haram. It's a massive haram. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لَعَنَ اللَّهُ آكِلَ الرِّبَى وَمُوكِلَهُ وَكَاتِبَهُ وَشَاهِدَهُ وَقَالَ هُمْ سَوَاءٌ. Allah cursed the receiver, the giver of interest, the payer and the receiver. The payer, the receiver, the scribe, the writer, the witness. In other words, anyone who is directly involved in an interest-based transaction is part and parcel of the deal. Part and parcel of the deal. The two people who are dealing, they're of course included. But if they say to someone, can you be a witness? And he witnesses. The scribe who is writing at that time, helping, assisting. Ibn Hajar Asqalani rahimahullah writes that this scribe writing is someone who is directly involved writing at the time. If someone writes later, that's not part of, it's not included. Like, two people committing some sin, like someone, committed the sin of murder, and you're writing afterwards, this guy committed murder. He's already done the sin and you're writing it afterwards. So that's not assisting. That's why the accountancy job is okay. Because you're writing at the end some of the sins that someone did. But directly involved in helping, assisting an interest-based transaction. So riba is massively haram. Qimar, gambling, all these, speculations. And this is one of the reasons, again, this whole gambling where people, it creates people within this thing that because remember, it goes back to this money, money, money. I live, my main objective, earn, just money, just earn. What gives me money overnight? What is the easiest? This is why I was saying that back in the day, people used to choose a career which was beneficial for themselves and others. But now, even if it's something disgusting, if it gives you a lot of money, go for that. Anything. If it's jumping up and down, if people are giving you money, I'm an influencer because I jump up and down. Like, what positive are you doing? It just gives money, whatever. Because the objective is money. And there's ridiculous types of ways of people are making money nowadays in the online world, and TikTok and TokTik and I don't know what not. Because it's just money. What positive thing are you contributing? So this mindset comes into this qimar and gambling. That's why Allah made qimar, gambling, because it's an intoxication. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ. Allah prohibited khamr, alcohol, and maisir. قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ. This desire to become rich in super speed time. That's what gambling. It's intoxication. Which, thinks something will make me money, like give me something, give someone money, like guaranteed they'll give you this much money. This mindset is really wrong mindset. And this is where all these pyramid systems and all this is why people go into them. Alhamdulillah, I've never ever in my life ever even had the desire or the intention to even look into what some pyramid system is, multi-level marketing thing is. Never, no interest. No interest. It's just have a nature, of hate towards it. And people go into it and make money, and then everything falls down. And people lose sleep, and people become depressed. Earn halal money as much as you can. Have a simple life, and just pay as you go life. Honestly, you'll have less depression. The more you go into these things, it gives you mental depression as well. Some of the most happiest people on planet Earth are gypsies. Do you know that? We think that they're gypsies, but they're really happy internally. They don't really care, like whatever, they're not really worried about, what kind of mansion their great-grandchild will be living in. They're not worried about that. Now, when I'm 73 on January 14th, when I'm 85 years old, what kind of food will I eat? They don't worry about that. Just take each day as it comes. إذا أصبحت, this is what Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab said. Abdullah ibn Umar said, إذا أصبحت فلا تنتظر المساء. In the morning, don't wait for the evening. وإذا أمسيت فلا تنتظر الصباح. In the evening, don't wait for the morning. لو أنكم, this is a hadith, لو أنكم تتوكلون على الله حق توكله لرزقكم كما يرزق الطير. If you had reliance and tawakkul on Allah, He would give you rizq like He gives the birds rizq. The birds leave in the morning, empty stomach, تغدو خماصا وتروح بطانا. They come back full stomach. No birds are dying. Allah gives rizq. So anyway, to finish off this, a lot of these speculative things Islam prohibits. Some things are clearly haram, some are doubtful, but I would just advise not to go into these speculation things. I'm not going to give a fatwa anything about anything today, and especially not crypto, etc. Because but just as I don't know. I mean, I would say just better to stay away from these kind of things. If you're not dying, if you're dying out of hunger and thirst and whatever, then maybe there's absolute haja. But if you've got some other ways of halal income, then I'm not saying it's haram. Many scholars are saying not allowed or disliked, or we're not sure, or we just tawaqquf. Right now the fatwa is we're not. Some have said yes. But again, each person needs to think about it. But a lot of these speculative kind of transactions, this is why a lot of the transactions in the stock market, they're all haram. One of the basic things is like ownership. When you buy and sell something, one of the first basic rule is that the item of sale must be in existence, أن يكون موجودا, أن يكون مملوكا, أن يكون مقبوضا. Must be in existence, must be in your ownership, must be in your possession, some way. Like the risk has been transferred to you. It is not allowed in Islam. Clear hadith. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we just read this hadith yesterday in Sunan Tirmidhi with the students. This companion came to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, sometimes people come to buy from me things which I don't have. Can I just sell it to him and then go in the market and buy it and then give it to him afterwards? He said, لا تبع ما ليس عندك. Do not sell what you don't own. Haram to sell any item that a person doesn't own. Now there's an exception to that, which is salam. You can read about this. Like a lot of people do online sales, like I'm doing a business and people order, and then after they make the order, you actually sell them and then you go and get it from the market. You can do it on the basis of salam. Salam is an exception, but there are many rules for that, and you have to follow strictly those rules, then you can do that. But the basic rule of thumb is, it must be in existence, must be in your ownership, must be in your possession. Because speculative things in the stock market, where people are just buying and selling things, sometimes it's not even, they're just buying and selling like a bag of potatoes. Where is that bag of potatoes? Nowhere. It's all gambling. This gambling mindset goes against the teachings of Sharia. So that's a really important thing. And finally, I will just talk about partnerships. This is just one point. When you do partnerships, it's very important. Again, clarity of dealings even in partnerships. You want to do a business together with partnerships. First and foremost, there was this thing going on before, I remember, that there were people saying that invest money will give you guaranteed profit. £500, £500, £500, £500. We guarantee you £1,000. How can that happen? There's no guarantee. Look, the point, I will end with this particular point. In Islam, there's a difference between investment and loan. Difference between what? Investment and loan. What is the difference? Loan is where your money is guaranteed. Loan is where your money is guaranteed. You give someone 500, they take 500 from you, and the next moment they lose the 500, nothing to do with you. They still have to come and give you your 500. You gave someone 500 in the masjid as a loan. They went outside and a robber came and I came back, oh, sorry, it's gone. It's nothing to do with me. It came into your possession. It's guaranteed. It's madboon. There's dhaman on it. Loan is guaranteed. You must give me that money, whether a thief, a robber comes and takes it from you, you use it, you make 2 billion out of it, or you make 0 out of it. You must give it to me. But I can't take anything extra. You make 2 billion, I will still take 500. You lose all of it, I will still take 500. Anything on top is riba. Loan, riba is when you give loan and you take something on top. That's riba, that's interest, that's haram, that's interest. So when your money is guaranteed, you can't take anything on top. That's different to investment. Investment is, you're saying to someone, here's 500, I'm investing. Now this is on a basis of profit and loss, which means my money is not guaranteed. The reason why I am allowed to take the profit is because I'm taking the risk of my money being lost. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Not inna ma'al yusri yusra. That's basically the difference between nikah and zina as well. You take the responsibility that here, I'm giving you money, it's an investment, so investment is not guaranteed. Now you discuss the terms of this partnership. He says, okay, I am putting 500 as well. Or he said, I'll just put my labor. Whatever the situation, whatever profit is made, you agree. You can agree 50-50, you can agree 90-10, you can agree 99%, 1%, whatever percentage. But remember, it has to be percentage, not a physical sum. So whatever profit happens, let's say they agreed on 50-50. If there is profit, then they'll share the profit 50-50. If there's loss, then the loss is according to their money. If they both put 500, and there's loss, they both will use their money. If one's putting labor and one's putting money, the person of labor will lose his labor and the person of investment will lose his investment. Now, a lot of people are saying this, okay, everyone, guaranteed profit. How can you give guaranteed profit? Because the moment you make money guaranteed, a penny on top is not profit, it's what? It's riba. We want our cake, they say you want to have your cake and eat it at the same time. Have you heard that phrase in English? The decoration of a cake. They want to eat the cake, but they want to keep the eat cake as well. Like eat it, if you eat it, it won't stay there. So you can't have both. I want my money guaranteed, but I also want the profit as well. I had a case, and people, practicing, apparently practicing Muslims in other areas of life, of salah, saum, zakat, hajj, umrah, tasbih, istighfar, tahajjud, qiyamul layl, awabin, ishraq, and everything. But when it comes to money, it's like absolute, ultimate level of haram, fisq. And there's disputes and fights. And there's a brother, I remember, he prays and everything. He came to me and he said, look, I gave my money to this brother, but he guaranteed me profit, and he said, give me, every month we'll give you 200 back, you'll definitely get it. And now he's not even giving me no profit, he's not even giving me the original one, my initial, my capital. So I said, did you give it to him as a loan? No, it was an investment. So I said, what do you mean he's not giving him? If it's loss, then you don't get it back. He said, no, but he told me it's guaranteed. So I said, okay, if he told you it's guaranteed, then were you wanting the profit? He goes, yeah, if there's profit I wanted, but that was guaranteed. He just wouldn't understand the concept. It's either guaranteed and no profit, or no guaranteed and no profit, and profit. If your money is not guaranteed, then you take a part of the profit. So there's a lot of rules of shirk, which is partnerships, which we need to learn about as well. And the rules of riba and gambling, and there's so many, even bank accounts and bank deposits, there's some things about that you should learn about as well. But inshallah, I think these are just some brief pointers. We'll end with that, inshallah ta'ala. Do you want to take some questions, or just 7 minutes? I said 9 o'clock, it's 8:58, 59, I think I can see in the reflection. Yeah. What happens to that brother? What happens to?
What happens if a person who owes you money doesn't pay it back and then ignores your messages when you're asking?
they're sinful. They'll suffer the consequences. I mean, this is not an Islamic Sharia, Darul Khilafah, that we can take them to. I mean, if you've got any legal way of taking them to the courts, then by all means, if you've got it, that's why have it in writing. Have it in writing, have everything documentation. This is why the Quran said, "Faktubu," write it down. Get a proper contract in place. But people say, no, Muslim, mashallah, if you've got the beard, how we don't want to undermine, this. This is one aspect of Islam, but this is not the whole of Islam. The dress is a part of Islam, is not the full of Islam. Never be deceived by the book cover. They say don't be deceived by, don't ever, judge based on the cover. So, if you have legal means, then go. If you don't, then sorry, there's nothing else you can do. There's nothing else. You can keep on telling them. If they don't, then they'll suffer the consequences. If you don't forgive them, then they'll suffer the consequences in the akhirah. His brother asking, yeah, go. Yeah, I was going to talk about bank accounts. Look, when we have accounts, you have current accounts and you have saving accounts. Saving account pays you interest, current accounts don't. Now, what's really happening in current accounts is that interest is being generated, but they're not giving it to us. Our money is laying the eggs. The chicken is laying eggs, but they're not giving it to us. In the savings, they're giving it to us. They're taking a lot as well, but they're giving some portion to us. So some of the ulama are inclined towards this, that in Western countries, in non-Muslim countries, etc., maybe it's allowed, and this is I'm not saying this is a fatwa, but this is the inclination of my teacher, Mufti Alkawthari, hafidhahullah, that really you should try to put them in Islamic accounts, Islamic banks, if you can, which are proper Islamic way running. Again, in that as well, some people, there were Islamic banks, I don't know if they are, and I don't work for anyone, I have no connection with any particular one, so that's why I'm not saying anything for anyone or anything. Alhamdulillah, it's, without any biases with anything. This is the reason why I don't like to get connected, so I could say anything openly and easily. But a lot of people were putting money, not realizing, they were saying, oh, I'm getting profit because I'm in Islamic bank or this, I'm getting profit. They didn't know. When I explained to one brother that, but do you know that there's a loss as well? No, it's profit, guaranteed profit. It's not interest. They've said nafa. Terms don't change anything. It could be alcohol, and you call this alcohol, it's not going to become haram. Yeah, I'm drinking alcohol. This is water, and you can call alcohol water, it'll still be haram. Words, interest, things like that don't change anything. So even in those Islamic investment banks, people, they must have a clear understanding. You talk to them, go, look, is this proper, on what? It's basis on mudaraba, which is investment. Where are you investing? They might tell you there's very less chance of risk of losing your money. That's fine, but no guarantee. They could say, potentially it's just 2% chance. That's not a problem. But you can't guarantee. Remember, the UK government, and basically many countries, the law of the country is that the depositors, their money is guaranteed. What's that? Yeah, no, but I'm saying, the financial, what is it? FCI, yeah. So, and that's why we had those banks which were liquidated, and so your money is guaranteed. So that's why there was a big problem for any Islamic bank to operate, because remember, the Islamic bank is on one side is all these accounts. The bank is somewhere in the middle. On one side you've got all the depositors, on one side you've got all the people, assets, and you're funding the mortgages, etc. That's basically what a bank does. Bank is like a room. You've got a window here, Here you've got the small people coming, giving you 2p, and here you're giving money to the big guys and taking the profits from here and then giving some to them and keeping the rest. That's basically what a bank is. So if this side is not correct, then this side can't be correct, because the law says that money is guaranteed. So this is a big dilemma. Some scholars said that it's impossible, but there are many contemporary scholars, they allowed this. One of them is like, for example, Sheikh Nizam al-Yaqubi, he's from Bahrain, very famous Islamic scholar. And I actually looked into this issue a lot about 10 years ago because there was a bank that was coming into existence, and I was actually advising one for quite a few years, and then I stopped after that. But what I did was I was very strict. I said to them that, look, okay, this is, because I said, look, make a nice big flyer, poster, notice, disclaimer, massive one. Anyone who comes to open up an account, Islamic account, you make them read this and make them sign. In there it's clear. Islam says this is based on profit and loss. Yes, we by the government, we are duty bound, we are obliged to be, by law, we have to guarantee. But you as a Muslim, from an Islamic point of view, must make this intention that this is not based on this, and you, if there is loss, you will not take all of this. I've understood all of this. Give every person who opens an account this and let them read it and sign it properly. Of course, legally it will have no value to it, or it will not hold anything, because if they go to the law will say, but if someone's conscious Islamically, they should at least this much, then inshallah it should be okay. So they said that if we give this to this, we started giving this out, and half the people say, sorry, we don't want to open the account then. As soon as you tell them there's a risk, people don't want to open it. So coming to finish this question, that if it's not an Islamic account, if it's like major contemporary banks, then some of the scholars are of this opinion, and which is fine to take into consideration, that you can actually open up not just a current account, but you can also a savings account. Because rather than give them the eggs, the money is generating interest, and let the bank take it and send it to the Israeli government, IDF, or whatever they want to use it against you. Why don't we take that money? And then it is a haram money, not with the intention of benefiting. And the basic rule of haram money, interest money, is that we give it away, ridding ourselves of it. It's not charity, not sadaqah. You don't make the intention of sadaqah, no reward, but just ridding ourselves. This is general rule with any haram money that comes to us by some way that someone made tawbah, someone made haram money. Let's say someone sold drugs. I remember a brother 10, 12, 15 years ago. He came to see me in my office in Dar Rifta, many years ago. It's been at least 15 years. And he said, I've made tawbah, I used to sell drugs. I made 235,000 pounds. I've got all that money. Some I've used it up, I've got a car and this and that. But I feel so bad and regretting, I'm willing to give all this away. Tawbah is only tawbah when you correct as well. It's not just, okay, I've done everything, I've killed and done all this stuff and Allah forgive me and done. Yes, some of the things you forgive, but tawbah, relating to Allah, huququl ibad, etc., requires more than just a simple tawbah. So all the haram money, and he said, I'm going to give it all back. So with haram money, that if you make tawbah, or it came to you in some way that it just came to you, then if you can return it to the original owners, then that's a basic ruling. Someone stole money, you find the person. But if it's not possible, then the basic rule is you give it away to the extremely poor people without the intention of reward. For them it's halal, you don't tell them where it is. So that's with riba as well. So you take the money and just give it to extremely poor, destitute people and just give it to them. Is that okay? So, yeah. Let me just take it quickly.
Do you have any familiarity with new government schemes for students that are going to university?
I've looked into a bit, but not too much. But I think maybe another thing. Yeah, the new scheme, which was very recent. Yeah. No, yeah. No, I haven't looked at. I know about it, but it needs to be looked at properly. So, sure. Yes. Zakat is a whole branch. You should do a whole course on fiqh of zakat. That's another thing, before Ramadan. Fiqh of zakat is a very important branch. But yeah, go on.
So you know the date where you get your nisab money or whatever. If you decide to, is it permissible for you to decide to basically pay it on at a different time in the year?
You can pay it whenever, but calculation has to be on that day. You can't change that date.
So you can calculate it on the nisab day and then pay it?
Yeah, you can pay throughout, yeah. Slowly, you can you can pay, but you have to calculate on that date.
Is there any extra reward if you delayed it till, say, Ramadan or something?
Could be, because rewards are multiplied in Ramadan. This is why some people delayed for Ramadan. But there's two tastes, you can say. Both are fine. Someone says, look, ta'jeel in ibadah and fard something, so do it quickly. So from that angle, there's more reward in there. But from a Ramadan angle, so it's different tastes. It's not, but as long as calculation is done and you've set the money aside or whatever. Yes, brother.
Are there any cases where riba al-fadl is acceptable? Is it evidenced by anything the Prophet ﷺ or the Sahaba did? That's the first question. Second question, fiat currencies where there's no underlying asset backing it, in principle, haram or halal?
Second question again?
Fiat currencies,
Yeah.
like the ones we have in
Yeah.
the world, halal or haram?
Yeah. Yeah, with the first question, riba, I mean, there's riba al-fadl, riba al-nasi'a, riba al-Quran, riba al-hadith, they're all prohibited. Just those, there's a difference of opinion in those, commodities that are exchanged. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said dates for dates and gold for gold and silver for silver and salt for salt. There's details between the madahib, etc. And the book that inshallah will soon be published got a lot of details on there, currency exchange, whether there's a riba. And that leads to the second question, that currency. I know there is a viewpoint that exists that nothing's backed when everything's, so there's nothing, it's just, but it just doesn't make sense because even though it's not backed, these currencies themselves have become now like an item of exchange. So, you see, you have to look at the whole history. Before things used to be exchange, barter system. If I wanted to buy this, I used to exchange it for this. Then the whole, the history of how the currencies came to existence, and then all the currency had gold backed up, etc. And then afterwards, only America gave guarantee. And then there's even now, even if basically the money, if you take out the note, it's written, promise to pay the holder, the bearer of this. Meaning this is not really money. Actually, you're taking this. This is just, if you look at your £10 note, it actually says, I promise to pay the bearer. But then now, what happened after that? And that's why in those times, the scholars gave a fatwa that if you give zakat in fiat money, in currency, actually your zakat is not done unless the poor person does not go and buy something from it. Until the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, until 60s, that was a fatwa of the mainstream majority of the scholars. They said this is just like a representation of actual wealth, which is gold. But then, when the world system changed, where they no longer give, now you can't, before if you went to the government, they would have to give you gold. But now no longer. They said this has become currency. So in the 1970s or something, and so all the fatwa, everything changed. That this has now become currency itself. And this is like back in the day as well, that there were certain things which were considered to be currency. Imam Malik said, radiyallahu anhu, that if people made leather of skin of animals as currency, I would say riba is in the leather of animals. Because the society has made that as currency. So it's just that society, government, legally, everywhere, it's become currency in itself. So not being backed up, because gold and silver was the original, that's considered to be thaman khilqatan, by creation. Thaman. This has become thaman urfan, by customary understanding has become thaman. But it's a lengthy topic, this is the gist of it basically. Yeah, just one or two more questions and then we need the moderator to come, otherwise it'll be at 12 a.m.
As a taxi driver, you pick up a job, someone orders a taxi, he is going to pub or club or whatever.
Best answer to that is that you just tell them that, look, don't tell me which pub, club you want to go to, just tell me the street. Just say, look, I don't know, just tell me street. Then what you want to do, just tell me which street. If you can do that, say, can you just tell me the street, location, street, and I'll just put the street. I don't want to know. You should try to do that. Because there is karahiyah, because if you're assisting, this is a whole topic as well. One of the other principles in business and trade, buying, selling, working, jobbing, Allah says, لا تعاون ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان. You can't help and assist in sin. So if there's a job that helps any sin, then that job income is haram. Okay? So like for example, you help someone killing someone and you get money for that, or anything. So this is like taking someone to drink, very directly to a club, to a bar, and you're directly taking it. the money is tainted. I mean, I know a lot of taxi drivers and a lot of Muslims, and people don't like to talk about it, but it is what it is. You know, you can't sugarcoat it and say, nah, it's okay because Muslims are doing it. But the way out of it would be to just say to them that I don't take to clubs or pubs. Or you don't have to even say that. Just say, because if they don't like it, then just say, just tell me the street road name and I'll take you to that road.
Sometimes the job is coming on the street and I'm a taxi driver.
Yeah.
It's not saying on the street name. It's just saying on the building names and pub names and club names.
Where you have to take them.
Yeah.
You-
So what we say, we need to ask you where are you going, or they ask you we need to go there. So we have to like beat in it.
Is there any other way that you could just make it vague and not? Because I can't say it's halal that you take them there. It's difficult. That much amount of money from the general money, problematic. And barakah in money comes with good halal tayyib money. So there must be some way. See, maybe you can think about it, maybe have a meeting and then see, and then all the Muslim taxi drivers, can use some way. Yeah, you're saying something. Is it connected to that, or is it completely different? So maybe something, inshallah, like that. Just quickly, I think. Yeah.
Just a simple question, but just like car financing and mortgages.
Car financing, at least 0% finance, all that kind of stuff. No percent finance. Yeah. Look, normally, again in that book I've talked about this in a lot of detail. Inshallah, when this book comes out, when someone is, if I'm selling this phone, on the spot, give me £100, okay? Or if I say to you, give me in installments over the next 12 months, £10. How much is that? 120. That's fine. There's actually a hadith. Imam Tirmidhi talks about this. And then, as long as we agree on one, you can't just say, okay, I'll see what. No. You take the second option, I'll pay you in installments, £10 every month, by the end of the year. So now I've actually increased the price of this phone from 100 to 120 because you're paying in installments. That's not riba. That's totally halal. Riba is when I've given you a loan. This is I've just changed the price of it because you're paying me late. Late payment that doesn't make, it's not always paying more because of paying in later, that's not always riba. However, condition is that it's the same company. If I say to you, okay, this is my finance company, they will finance you. So they'll pay me £100. Instead of giving you the loan, they're giving me on your behalf. And you're paying them. Barclays Bank, or what's that famous one? What is it? Santander, what is it? Santander. They do a lot of financing. Because I remember when I was getting my car as well. So if you're paying them, then that's haram. Because now they've given you a loan and they've given you 100 and you're giving them 120. So if it's the same company, sometimes you have the same BMW company has a finance department. If it's their finance department but the umbrella is one, then it's okay as well. I remember when I bought my car, I went to them and there were some Muslims working there and I explained the whole fatwa to them and said, this is really good because we have a lot of customers and now we're going to explain to them. I said, look, give them the full figure, give them all the installments. Once your full price is £24,000, your car, etc. This is the full figure. Now we're selling you this car, whether they have interest written or not, but you've got a clear understanding, this car cost me totally £24,000. This is the total price. By 3 years, you'll pay this much and then there'll be left remaining, you'll pay off, or if you don't want to pay that, then you can do it. So that's okay with the 0%. And the mortgages, it's haram, isn't it? Commercial mortgages are haram. Islamic alternatives, that's a whole topic. Some are right, some are not, this, that, but that's another topic for another time, inshallah. There's some hands being, you want to take just absolute last.
So I just wanted to query about whether it's permissible or not to take out like life insurance.
Yeah, all insurances. Yeah, this is a good question. When we talk about gambling, I was going to talk about it. Insurance is basically all chancing gambling. That's what insurances are. Basic general rule, which the mainstream majority of scholars follow, 99% of the world, all prevalent forms of insurances are not allowed. All. Whether it's contents insurance, whether it's a life insurance, whether it's furniture insurance, whether it's car insurance, etc. However, they said, if you're forced by law, now some people don't agree with this, they said even if you're forced by law, it shouldn't be allowed. That's a valid point. And some people say, I won't even take out, don't have a car. But there are ulama and there are people, that great people of knowledge, they said, look, you have a basic right to have a car. Once you get a car, then the government forces you to have insurance. So it's because you're forced by law, so car insurance has been given an exception. Some people just say, no, but this is a fatwa that you can. So unless all prevalent forms of insurance are not allowed, unless number one, you are forced by law, or number two, there are unbearable, life-threatening, unbearable harms expected. So, like I said, I tweeted the other day, I said, since all these insurances came into this world, the whole spirit of tawakkul has gone down the drain. Now everyone just thinks, when I'm going to step, someone will break my nose, someone will break my toe, what about my chimneys, my phone will fall. It's like back in the day, people lived longer and healthier, and they weren't worrying about it, who's going to cut the ear off, and then who's going to, every part of their life and everything's insured. Just live, deal with life. But unbearable consequences, like for example, like travel insurances are not allowed as well. Health insurances, travel insurances, they're not allowed, they're not permissible. I've never taken, never ever in my life. But like for example, somebody is really in a very critical kind of state, has health conditions, and it's thought that if this person travels to another country, if they have the attack on them because they've got these conditions, it could be potentially life-ending, life-threatening, because you won't get that service, you won't be taken to the hospital, they could die. Then for that person, you can take it out. Whether it's life-threatening or even financially, like some doctors, someone can just sue them for £1 million, just because, for small things. It's very critical for Muslim doctors, like something small, your whole career, life, job, everything, you could end up in prison. So for those kind of situations, an insurance is allowed. But generally, other than that, insurances are not allowed. Not for my sofa, and not for my chimney, and not for my mobile phone. No insurance for this as well, not allowed. Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Mufti Sahib, thank you very much for the enlightening bayan and then the question and answer session. And of course, if people do have, as I've already mentioned, Mufti Sahib's website, daruliftar.com, to sort of use that, as I've already mentioned. It's my go-to. And then, inshallah, you'll get the answers that you want to.
What's the name of the book that's coming out?
Commentary of Sunan Tirmidhi. If I can just find it here. That will be good, inshallah. It's got a lot of modern issues, car finance, all of this is in there. It's just Jami' Tirmidhi. This is how it looks. It's Jami' Tirmidhi, chapters on trade and commerce. Jami' Tirmidhi, chapter on trade and commerce. Imam Tirmidhi, of course, commentary by Sheikh Mufti Muhammad Taqi Uthmani, and then translated and annotated by myself. And it's on, it says here, Amazon Kindle, get it on Apple Books, also in digital format. I don't know, maybe Amazon, or I don't know where else or something. But I'm waiting, I don't know this, I'm a person of physical copies. I can't read, I need physical copy. I'm waiting for, inshallah, 2-3 weeks. When the physical copy comes, then I'll be happy.
Jazakallah Mufti Sahib, if you'd be kind enough to do dua as well, please.
You are sitting, so one thing, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى وسلم اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين